So I got to the screen at about 6:15, right around here, and we are sitting below or right at the low a day and the overnight low. On the 5 minute, we can see that we have these lows at 44.50. So we pushed up and taken out these lows. So ideally, I would have liked to have been at the screen earlier at about 5:30 on this imbalance down to hold this LVN for some kind of short opportunity to take out these weak lows, but I missed that. So was tempted to jump into this short, but seems like a bad area to jump into a trade to take out this 44.50. And we can see on the higher time frame chart there's a lot of these lows, fairly weak low here, possibly a potential for a higher time frame large buyer at 44.15 and structure in here as well, but we would be targeting these lows if I can get a setup and an imbalance below. As far as order flow, we've had some pretty strong buying overnight in this area. You can see on the delta here, and then we came back up and tested these highs, and then just pushed it down, and we saw quite a bit of these longs unwind through all of this, and that's where we can see this. So order flow is showing that a lot of these longs have been pushed out of the market, so we have the potential to have quite a few trap shorts now if we have any kind of large limit buying coming in at these lows. But the idea and context read is still obviously to the downside to take out some of these lows if I can get a setup, but definitely some limit buying coming in at the lows here, and here. Increase in volume, pretty light volume in the overnight session. So that's my trade idea, and we'll see what changes when we approach and take out some of these lows. This is a great example of why we don't buy or why we don't sell lows for breakouts, especially with limit buying below here. The urge and the impulse is to not miss the trade, and this is what I was seeing on this push down. And then what happened, small increase in volume, limit buying, and then go the other way. So now we're at the top of this small range, testing the low side of this previous value, and these lows, the low day, the overnight low that was previously taken out, and now we're going to have to watch and see what's happening here. But if we still have shorts in the market, where are they going to accumulate or sell on the limit? Well, they're going to have to sell on the limit above these previous shorts that are going to get stopped out here to take liquidity before moving lower. So to be patient and wait and see if that's the direction is what I'm going to do. And do I possibly miss the breakout trade for the move down here? Yes, but so often we get reversals at the low of range waiting for the breakouts, and we had some limit buying here and then the reversal. So is this going to be the low? It's possible, not likely. And order flow is saying that we are having some fairly strong or some kind of market orders on the buy side. So we'll see what happens. Would be looking for the low side of the structure to hold. Our point of control is up into this area as well, so we could definitely return here to the two-sided trade in value before moving lower. It's about 10 minutes before the energy's open, not the indexes, but this is where I would have an expectation that these last shorts could potentially be taken out or even trapped, and pushing back up into these previous longs trapped here, and this LVN is an unfair price. So we'll see what kind of reaction we get. And not much to do here, being above this structure now. And if price returns to this area, if this doesn't hold, this would be somewhere where I'd be watching to take a short down through the lows, or we hold this area and move higher back up into this LVN above, or possibly all the way back up into this liquidity of this area where we had selling. So this is our trouble from this last buyer down to this LVN and this last seller. So this is untested supply. Really nothing too strong here at the lows. I am short 44.49.50, and oh man, just ripped out at the bottom of the range for -3 points, and likely to be, I'm going to try it again here. Seems like we have the potential to take out the lows, and this has to hold, and otherwise I am the stuck trader in this trade. And we have some pretty significant, she's lost again, another 3 points. Limit buying coming in here, pretty strong. Lots of limit selling in here, and not very good so far. Short again, 54.25. Bound and determined to try to catch this move to break the lows. Already down 6 points on those tries, so not good so far. We have pretty strong limit buying and selling coming in at both sides. Target is going to be a break of the overnight low, or 45.25. But there's that number 2 that I discussed at the 44.50 of the lows. So that's what I'll be shooting for. Too bad, but you know, it's like when I missed both, I got shaken out twice to get the move, and then I got the nice break on the low. So that's unfortunate, but overall target was hit. And important thing to remember on this is that I still have to continue to execute, because my conviction has to be strong. And if my idea is correct, and the only reason I give up on that is because I just quit. So that read in context was correct to take out this low. This was not a very strong low. Unfortunately, I just got shaken out in here a couple of times and nothing really had changed. We did have some strong limit buying, and then the order flow was crazy heavy, just huge negative delta in here. And here we are down. We went to 41.75. I just took it off around this. This was my target to break, the 44.75. So a little bigger flush maybe would have been a better target, but you know, you can't get the whole move. But that was a very nice move. We have all of these targets below, which we could see as weakness down to the, I mean, I mentioned the 44.15, but this is the real weakness at the 44.35 area. That could definitely go, but this is these lows that I was targeting. So really, I could have done a little better job, probably. Yeah, 43.50. So that was a pretty good exit. Pretty happy with that. This is a great example, once again, of being patient and waiting. It's a little hard because the low side of the range was taken out. So this is a limit buying versus limit selling battle. But the short context and the read helped on the conviction. But this is really the goal. And this red box where I talked about in the beginning of the video as far as the untested supply from here, the LVN as well, we pushed up into this liquidity. So this is where higher time frame limit sellers came back in, and we can see that. So a flush of these highs pulling in the breakout buyers, soaking up that liquidity, and then the flush and the imbalance down. This is the area to be under, and I was in at 54.25, which is about right here. and we don't want to be at the extreme. I don't want to be at the extremes of the ranges because that's when I get ripped out. So it's a little more risky, but once we pushed up above and imbalanced down, this was a pretty good entry. And then to watch it real closely for a retest of this volume, and we can see we did have some limit buying coming in here, but then sellers at that point were in control. And now we do have, with the break of the lows, we have some pretty strong limit buying. This is also probably quite a bit of stops coming in. So are we going to hold this area? It's possible. I have no idea. But happy with the trade. Could have probably avoided that first loss selling the lows. I just got to stop just passing on the trades and being patient and waiting for what I need to see, and that's the trading the extremes of the range in the opposite direction, because that's where the larger time frames come in to either flush liquidity and push price the other way, because that's how it has to be, because in order to fill these large orders, that's how they have to get filled. So my overall idea is done. There's definitely weakness to the downside in targets as well still. None of this is real. This 33 area was where we pushed it down into, and then this overall 1875 potential for lower prices, but I don't know. I'm going to need to wait and see what happens here for a while to take advantage of that. I sold 44, and it looks like I'm going to be stuck selling the low side of the range again, but we're holding this low side of structure. So I'm going to get pretty aggressive. If we don't drop real quick here, I'm going to have to take this off. This next retest. Now I'm already break even because we broke that low. And we got to hold now here, but I don't want to have risk on here being at selling the low side of the range. So I think I got taken out. Fuck. It's unfortunate because this really could hold from below, and now we have a ton of trapped longs, all these trapped longs, and but we have limit buying coming in as well. So I almost got taken out, but I got taken out just on a break even, and didn't allow the retest up here because all of these trapped longs, and this area held, and I just took it off trying not to lose. So that's unfortunate, and we're smashed through the low now, and I missed the freaking monster trade. So pretty piss poor management. We can see that we really didn't even get above, at least my break even should have been, or my stop should have been still here, but this absorption, I didn't like that. And then we pushed down below, and then we trapped more buyers, or the longs had a little opportunity to close, and they didn't have any ability to move up. So now we are 10 points below my entry on the short, and I took a break even. So that's real unfortunate. Long 33.75, looking for a push higher. A little bit of volume coming in here, but I think we can come up into this area above. We need to go short term. We may have some sellers trapped, but man, needs to go here. We have some absorption coming in, some buying. We need a push above, or the bottom could potentially drop out of this thing, and that's not good. It's got to go here, or I'm going to get taken out. Took the loss. Had this pretty big volume coming in here, and we didn't push above, so I got taken out. This is just a shitty little balance area, so it can go either way. I'm long 44.30, and expectation is that we have a lot of these shorts now trapped, and that we can get above and way up into the 39 really. So we're either going to come up and spike out this liquidity for the move down, but we have a fair amount of shorts trapped now. So I just want to get a squirt and a flush above. There's a very weak high above. And I like my position here. Can I hold on through a pullback is the only question. I hope it just is easy and goes. But I see we have a lot of trapped shorts here. These here also, accumulation, order flow just could not get going. So now, like I said, the only question is, can I survive a pullback and get to my profit? Anything above this area in here is potential trouble. From here all the way basically to here. This is also very weak low. Also I'll be targeting this LVN. So 37.75 would be a fantastic exit, especially since I'm in much lower. That's a nice, real nice target. So, but I'm still going to stay. We have some volume at the offer at 44.40, 44.35. We'll see if this trades through. But this will be a nice end of my day. But I don't want to see the pullback here. And we have some volume coming in now, some limit selling. But to me, again, it just, unless we see some real large selling coming in here, I like the flush higher. It's not a very good response there. I don't want to see this pull back all the way, but I'm anticipating that we have a lot of stuck shorts. Come on, this is not what I want to see, but so I don't want to see this pullback, but you know, this also is some limit selling. But this order flow is starting to really turn around, kind of change in behavior. I gotta lock something in if we don't get above some pretty big volume here coming in now. Let's get it. I want to see what happens when we trade that 44.35. If we don't hold that, this little LVN, this minor LVN here, I'm not going to really be super excited about holding on to this. But haven't traded once again very well. Not great management, but context and read overall was dang good. So I just got to continue to work on my management. So let's see if we can push these guys out now. And I'll be looking to manage above the break of this high. That 35 is going to be crucial. I'm watching that real close. If that trades, we'll see. Got to sit through the discomfort and smash through this. Now let's see if it trades. This is where we want to see that flush. If that trades and trades through, likely that it's going to go and go hard. Oh, it just pulled. So that's real good for this trade, I would say. That limit seller just pulled. Bam. I got to lock something in here. We have that weak high above, but now I just have to manage it based on what is the best interest of the trade. But man, I have seen nothing but stuck shorts now here. Up into our red box at that 37.75, and I will aggressively manage it above that area. I think it's a mistake to take it off, but we have some pretty big, we got definitely some absorption coming in here now. Can I survive? Let's get it. Definitely some absorption coming in. But I don't see any buyer or any seller strength other than this accumulation coming in. But it just took me out, so that's all right. Decent trade for 4 points, a little more. So great trade. So I want to talk about the exit here. So this is just, again, a management decision. I had about over 6 points of equity, 6.5 points of equity approximately. So I still believe that we are very likely to come up into this area. We could potentially get all the way up to 42, but my entry being down here, we could still have another test of this volume and back to my entry and take a break even. So why do that? We saw a push above this liquidity, not a very strong low. Ultimately, this is a very weak low, weak high, this high here. But doesn't mean we can't hold. So I'm happy to take the 4.5 points, a little over 4 points, rather than giving back the whole trade and hoping that this will hold. But I'm happy with it. I'll take it. Could have probably taken it on the flush above and did a little bit better on the exit. But again, when the likely target is above, well above, to take it off 34.35, when we can easily break up into this LVN at 37.75, hire all of this to get filled in. So, and that's exactly what we're seeing now. And this was a fairly significant increase in volume. Limit selling here, more limit selling here, and now here we are almost all the way back to my entry. So missed the big short in here with my break even. That was a 10-point trade. But other than that, yeah, I got to live with it because I sold the low side of range. So if it didn't work out and I take a full stop, I would have been mad about that, because how we spiked below that low, which is so typical, and we see that constantly. And where was that? Right in here. So we spiked below here on my exit. So this came down below this volume, rejected. So at that point, we could easily have moved higher up in to take me out, and my stop was not comfortable above, at the very least, this is over a 3-point stop, and then coming back up into this high volume area at 50. So that's just way too big of a stop. So I'm okay with the management on that one. The context was very strong, being that all of these longs were trapped. Shorts came in here and pushed down an imbalance. So at this point, this low side is likely to hold, but where? What kind of pullback are we going to have? So yeah, if I was short from up here, it would be a hell of a lot better, and I could hold a little bit of risk, but it's fine. And this is exactly why I was happy to take the profit, because now here we are in drawdown to where I'm either at break even or facing a potential takeout of this low, this weak low. I definitely don't look at this as a strong low. And what did we see? We came up here again, tested this volume, more limit selling coming in, and we can see that reflected in the delta. Pretty strong selling. And then again here, not much interest in the buyers. So we should have seen some kind of response here. So I'm not real convicted on until we see a test deeper, lower. But again, this is not going to be an area where we're going to see large limit buying coming in until this low is taken out. So I don't really have much to do until I get some larger limit buying coming in here, take out of the low, or an imbalance higher. Imbalance higher isn't going to work for me either, because then I'm buying the top of the range, giving my order to potential limit sellers. So nothing to do. Just finished up the day, going to do a quick recap. I didn't capture any of this movement down. We finally took out this low, which was expected. Also took out the high, which was part of my read, into this untested supply. You can see where this was already drawn, spiked up into here, into untested supply, and sold off. So after this area right here, you can see the delta as well. We trapped those late longs into the supply. The sellers came in and spiked down. And at this point, all of these longs are trapped under here. We came down, gave them a chance to get out, and that was just the last chance, the last dying breath of the longs before smashing down, taking all that, and then the unwind of all of that liquidity from all of these buyers in through here. And then that fueled the move down. So expectation is for probably much more. I mean, it doesn't matter day trading, but we're at some pretty sketchy areas for the market in general. So we haven't been able to hold any of these areas. So now if we hold this low side of structure, down we go. So let's just show my results for the day. And here we are. Plus 350 on one lot. So 10 lot, that's $3,500 today. 6 trades. Those 2 unfortunate losses in the beginning. Definitely both avoidable before we spiked up into that untested, or those before spiking out those highs. So I also didn't. I identified both those opportunities on the long and the short side. Didn't take them. I was already kind of done for the day. So great day. Super happy about it. And onward and upward